There is just one idea how you can make virtual instruments by yourself. So what I did here, there is a lot of very popular instruments in Balkan music. So I have here a list of 61 instruments from known keyboards, older models, Casio, DX21, UZ Sound, and JV35. So I have several instruments, actually 61. I have around 20 of UZ, most popular sounds, DX7, 20 DX7 most popular sounds, Casio sounds, so, and I have JV35 sounds. So I like those sounds to use sometimes if I'm playing some older songs for Balkan music. And what do I have here? What did I make from those sounds? Let me use one of those sounds and put it here. And if you can see that in this sound I have several controls that I made. I have control for high pass, low pass filter, effects, delay with controls and button on off, reverb, control of reverb and button for reverb. So sometimes when I play I want to get inspiration with this effect, and when I'm done then I can just turn that effect off and I can use plugin. So now there is dry sound if I disconnect this. When I finish I can use dry sound and continue with plugins, but I have my effects where I can control time, feedback, reverse size, high pass filter, low pass filter. So, and then beside of that I can go to, let me go first to the next button where I control portamento and mono mode. But for now I will switch everything on off and jump to button intervals. Now in this button intervals I can control intervals. Actually I can play double tone. As it says, if I have C and major and +3, I will get. If I have A, for example, A, and if I use harmonic minor +3, and I can control actually that third interval, I can control velocity for that interval. Now if I don't want to have any interval and if I want to go in mono mode, I will just disconnect this section by putting interval on 0. And now I'm in polyphone mode. Now if I want to go in unison or monophone mode, then I can choose monophone. And then I can choose portamento as well, connect portamento, and I can put amount of portamento. I can control amount of portamento, I can put legato portamento or regular portamento, and I can control trigger, type of trigger. I can control voices, I can have more voices, and I can control the tune, spread, and I can go further in expert window and I can continue to control more detailed options of portamento. That is cool thing here. Now I will go back here, leave it like this. I will just, okay, it's on, is not legato. Legato. Regular. Okay, now if I press velocity curve, now I can control velocity, minimum velocity, maximum velocity. And I can control type of curve of velocity, type of velocity, linear, shelf, or whatever you want, fixed velocity, random velocity. So that is control for velocity. Intervals, as I mentioned. And now I have several instruments, as I mentioned as well. Next instrument. Or next one. Or you can have next one. Or if you are familiar with sounds that are like JV35 sounds, then we can go and use one organ. Or we can go to another organ sound. If we want to have a polyphone sound, just put it on polyphone mode. And then what I am planning to do in future, I am planning to add another button here where I can control, where I can modify sound. So actually you can do that now as well if you go to editing mode of that instrument and you go to the section where it says modulation. Now you can change curve, attack, hold, decay, sustain, release. But I am planning to update everything here, to put it here on window, on button. Next, I have now 1, 2, 3, 4 buttons, and I will create button number 5. And on button number 5, in my next step, my update, I'll put those functions: attack, hold, decay, sustain. But you can control that anyway, those functions, without doing this. You can control them with your controller. If you have, for example, SLMK2 from Novation, or any another controller that has quick control buttons, for example, Kontakt, you can anyway control that. So actually it is not necessary to have those buttons, because those buttons are default buttons that you can control with any controller that has capability to control quick controls. And those are quick controls. So in this case, it is not necessary. Only in case if you don't have that controller, I can put this here, and maybe then you can use a learn function with any keyboard and you can learn those controls from here. If you have a keyboard that has actually every keyboard, if it can send message, Genus, for example, can send those messages. Genus can send. Korg PA 5 can send those messages. So, and they have those buttons. They have potentiometers and they have sliders. So you can use them to with learn function from Kontakt, and you can control from your Genus 1 or Genus 2 or Korg PA4 or from Catron as well. Catron has capability to control to send those messages on those buttons. On those potentiometers. So you can use them as well. And so that is here on this video, it is actually idea what you can do with your favorite sounds if you have them. And what is interesting here, every instrument is not just by just not only one note. Everything is sampled, each note for each key. That is good because in this case, every key behave on different way. So that's why it is very important to have them sampled. Each key has different wave. Okay, there is a bunch of ideas what I did, what I'm using, and I'm giving them to you just to let you know, to give you some ideas if you have some knowledge and if you are willing to work. And if you have material, you can make for yourself something that could be very useful for your studio, like I did it. Have a great day and see you in my next video. Bye-bye. Ciao.